Hello, everyone, and happy 4th of July. It is 2026, and it's another year. We celebrate the birth of this wonderful nation. USA, USA. Anyways, I made some very interesting images of Kim and Ron and Rufus. Yes, I know they are AI generated, but they were just very easy and quick to do, and I think they came out looking very well. And just take a look at these videos. Very fun animations that I created using Google's Gemini and using Grok Imagine, which is basically Twitter or Elon Musk's X app. And yeah, the animations are very fun. Just take a look.
Happy 4th of July, everyone!
Yeah, fireworks and fun!
Let's make this epic.
Woohoo! Best celebration ever!
USA, USA, USA!
As you can see, it looks pretty decent, but the voices really don't match the characters. But anyways, I just want to say happy 4th of July, and to celebrate this wonderful day, I also want to talk about a certain Kim Possible episode. Now, this episode does have fireworks, so I think it's related to today. The episode I'm talking about is called Emotion Sickness, from the Kim Possible season 3, I think. Yeah, season 3. Kim Possible season 3, which actually has the smallest amount of episodes. The episode, Emotion Sickness, is a wonderful episode, and I think it's also an episode we should celebrate because it's the episode where we see a progress in Kim and Ron's relationship. An upgrade from best friends to potential boyfriend and girlfriend, And Ron, in this particular episode, he sees Kim, as a girl, but also he has a conflict in his mind. He doesn't know if he should be Kim's boyfriend or not because, relationships, they can get complicated. So Ron has a very hard time. He has to actually think things over. And yeah, it's one of my favorite episodes. We see Kim in one of the most surprising outfits that I was surprised when I first saw it because, first of all, her parents let her out like that. But, I guess her parents, they trust Ron because they've known Ron since forever and they know Ron is a good guy, he's decent, and he would never take advantage of Kim. Anyways, Kim wears this very sensual, sexy outfit, this black short dress. It's not even that short, but it's a black short dress, hoop earrings, heels, spicy red and spicy dark colors. She does her hair a certain way. She gives Ron a certain look, and Rufus and Ron, their eyes almost pop out. The other interesting part here is that Kim's dad, James Possible, he usually is very cautious about his daughter. And usually he would not let Kim out like that. But I think today is a special day because I think in his heart and his mind, and also on Kim's mom's heart and mind, they really want a good guy for Kim. And they see Ron Stoppable as a great guy, someone that supports and has taken care of Kim for a long, long time. And I think they recognize that Ron Stoppable can be a blockhead, okay? He can definitely be a blockhead, and things might just fly, past his mind. So I think they allowed Kim to look a little spicy, add a little sauce. They allowed her to have a little more sauce in her aesthetic, be a little bit more not sassy, but more saucy and spicy to get Ron's attention. And I think in my mind, this is not clear in the episode. It's not mentioned, but I think that Kim's mom helped Kim dress a certain way. Because when Kim is dealing with a conflict, she's talking about boys, usually her dad, James Possible, he avoids that subject. He usually calls his wife, Ann Possible, or, would rather watch sports and just tell Kim, hey, Kim, look, your mom is over there. Go talk to your mom. Anyways, I think Kim's mom she really helped Kim in getting dressed and picking the right combination to get Ron's attention because, as I said before, Ron can be a blockhead, right? Things can just fly past his mind. To Ron, Kim is a beautiful, gorgeous girl, but more than that, Kim is his best friend that he cares a lot about, and he doesn't want to hurt her, and he doesn't want to think anything bad about her. So to Ron, friendship is key. It's the number one thing for Ron, friendship. Anyways, James Possible has a very, like concerning expression, but he understands that things need to be, pushed up a bit, leveled up a bit, spiced up a bit, just for Ron. So he allows Ron to take his daughter out like that. And it's a wonderful episode because both parents agree and are in univision. They are in one mind saying that, you know what, take him, bring her back whenever you feel like. That's what the counting process that James Possible is basically doing in this episode. It's like a rocket launch, rocket launch countdown. But basically they told Ron, hey, you know what? Bring my daughter back whenever you want. You know what? Just keep her. That's how much they're pushing their daughter on Ron. And Kim is, of course, more than happy. Now, of course, the reason she is acting this way is due to a device called the Mudulator that changes and enhances her current mood, her current emotions, from crying to laughing to getting angry, and of course to being very romantically engulfed with that feeling. Anyways, Kim does a very unique pose, a very sexy, very tigress, lioness pose, scaring Ron a little bit. And she just clings to Ron's arm and they just head out the door, out to the festival. And how does this episode relate to 4th of July? Okay, well, let me get down to it. In this episode, we have fireworks. That's basically what ties 4th of July to this episode. There are wonderful fireworks at the end of this episode. But before that, let's talk a little bit about Kim and her emotions and Ron. Anyways, as I was saying before, Ron has a conflict. He knows that Kim is a beautiful, gorgeous girl. They've been friends for a long time. They're very close. Hey, maybe it's time that they should start dating. But Ron is a very smart guy. I'm pretty sure he has seen many couples start out as friends, start dating, and then that relationship just collapses, which is his biggest worry. Take a look.
Okay, so Kim and I have been best buds forever. Maybe dating is the next step. I mean, what's not to like about Kim? I mean, she's smart, cute, and dating could be good, the date thing. But what if it tanks?
As you can see, that is his biggest worry. He's like, you know what? It's time to date. But what if it tanks? What if it just collapses? What if it just gets destroyed? What if it doesn't work out? What if she finds things about me that she doesn't like? What if I'm a bad kisser? What if, she gets disgusted by me in a deeper relationship like that? I think that's his worry, and I think that is a very wise and a very smart and intelligent thinking process of Ron. Many people think Ron is an idiot. He's dumb. He's stupid. But Ron here in this episode proves his intelligence by actually thinking about choices before he initiates, before he does something. And he gets advice from his other best friend, which is Rufus. And of course, he gets advice from one of the more mature adults, which is his teacher, Mr. Barkin. Although Mr. Barkin is more concerned as to how Ron got into his house. Ron was just making Mr. Barkin's house as a therapist room. At least that's what it looks like to me.
This could totally wreck our friendship. No, I'm not gonna let that happen. Only one thing to do. Break up with Kim. Thanks, man. You've been a big help.
Stoppable, how did you get in my house?
Ron was thinking, pondering, and then he came to a conclusion, thanked Mr. Barkin. Mr. Barkin was just super confused as to how Ron got there. But it looks more like a therapy session. But in this scene, we also know that, or we get to understand that Ron sees Mr. Barkin as a adult figure he can trust and ask questions to when it comes to certain things like this. I'm pretty sure Ron talked to his parents, but he didn't get the response that he wanted, so he went to Mr. Barkin, and Mr. Barkin usually gives him direct and instructional advice. He was in the military. Anyways, Mr. Barkin doesn't say anything to Ron, but Ron on his own comes out with a conclusion. As I said, very wise, intelligent form of thinking. He goes to Kim's house and, of course, is very nervous, but the parents are tickled pink. They're very happy. They're ecstatic to see Ron. And, like we saw before, they allow their daughter to go out as is, and, they're very happy. At the festival, we see Kim is incredibly happy. We see that she just is so ecstatic to be with the Ronster, right? Big Ron. But Ron is conflicted. He wants to tell Kim, you know what? Maybe we should just stay friends. Maybe we shouldn't rush things, right? But of course, Kim is under the influence of the mutilator, and they keep messing around with the mutilator, and her feelings start acting up. There. But towards the end of this episode, of course, Ron realizes that Kim is being manipulated by this device, and the device is destroyed, and Kim goes back to normal. Kim goes back to being her old self. And I know I keep saying this, but towards the end of this episode, when Kim goes back to normal and Ron realizes that her feelings are just enhanced and modified by a device, he wants to know from Kim. So, Kim, are the feelings you felt for me, are they legit? Are they real? Or was it just mutilator related? Or was it just fake? Was it just a fake feeling developed, created by this artificial device? And Kim just looks at him in a very, sly, gives him a sly look and just says, there's still sparks. And Ron is like, really? He's like, really? There's still something there? And Kim, she just points up to the sky and we see fireworks. We see beautiful, beautiful fireworks. And of course, we also see Shigo chasing Draken because Shigo was also affected by the mutilator. She also got a mutilator stuck on the back of her neck. And her feelings were also modified by this device. But the interesting part here is where Kim basically plays doesn't give Ron a straight answer. She doesn't give Ron a definite answer. She tells Ron, there's still sparks, meaning that there's still something there, And Ron is like, really? Ron is more like, he wants things clear. He wants to know yes, no. Kim is very mysterious. I don't know if all of you noticed as an audience. As a kid, things can go by your mind, by your head pretty quickly. It's like, oh yeah, Kim was just playing around. But I think there's more to that. Because in the final season, season 4, in the episode called Homecoming Upset, Kim and Ron are dating. Bonnie uses that opportunity to try to steal Ron from Kim because Brick, her ex-boyfriend, goes to college, leaves her, she's desperate, she gets Ron because she's jealous of Kim. Bonnie is a jealous freak. Anyways, Bonnie forcibly kisses Ron. Kim shows up, is pissed. Ron tries to tell Kim that it wasn't him, it was her. Kim basically tells Ron. She basically explains to Ron, something like that, explains to Ron that, you know what, it took him 10 or 12 stinking years to kiss her. Basically, Kim has been waiting. We find out in this episode that Kim has been waiting 12 years to be kissed by Ron.
It took you 12 stinking years to kiss me.
Oh, Hugh. Hey, wait a minute.
This means, okay, because they're still seniors here, they haven't graduated yet. This means that since pre-K, since pre-kinder, when little Kim and little Ron met each other, Kim actually liked Ron. She probably fell in love with him. Not deeply, but she really, really liked Ron at that point. Right? So it started back in pre-K where where Ron stood up. He stood up to the bullies that were bullying Kim. And as those bullies were about to also bully Ron and beat him up, Kim also stepped up, beat up the bullies. She saved Ron from, getting beat up. But the important part here is that Ron was not afraid. Sure, Ron is a scaredy cat, but Ron will defend those who are being hurt, those who need help. He will help those that are in need of being helped. And Kim at the time, she was being bullied, and Ron saw that, and he defended her. Of course, he's weak. He's going to get beat up. But the important thing here is that Ron had courage. You cannot have courage, without actually having fear or being scared of something. Having courage does not mean that you're not scared. Having the courage to do something basically means that for example, everybody else is against you in something. You feel pressure, but you have the courage. You fight through that. You fight through being scared. You fight through being bullied for what you believe in, right? For what you think is right. And Ron here is a good example of courage. He had an imaginary friend. Here's where Rufus comes out, okay? Everything starts in pre-K. Now, this episode, I just skipped this part, but this episode is called... this episode is from season 2. It's called... what's it called? Give me one sec. Oh, it's called... Okay, so this episode is called A Stitch in Time. Can't believe I forgot. I think that's part 2, A Stitch in Time part 2. And in this episode, Kim goes back in time, and we see, of course, little Kim, little Ron in pre-K, and we see this wonderful, wonderful friendship develop. And of course, I believe here is where Kim developed feelings for Ron. In season 4, it is verified that she liked Ron for a long time, 12 years. She just was a little bit, she was a little bit, what's that word? Kim was just a little bit distracted by her teenage angst, by popularity, by other boys. Ron, he cannot be the one. It might be these other boys because Ron is not popular. I'm a cheerleader. I'm popular. I'm smart. This and this. I should be with a hottie. It's basically Kim's opinion at that time. Anyways, we're gonna speak more about this in the future. I just wanted to make this video very quickly to celebrate this wonderful day of this nation's, of America's independence. And just to celebrate also Kim Possible as well, because I believe that Kim Possible is also an American icon. Kim Possible was big back in the day, and I believe Kim Possible needs a wonderful revival by people that actually love the series. Okay? Anyways, thank you for watching this video. Sorry I went off on a tangent and I just rambled, but have a great 4th of July. Take care, and I'll see you next time.